The Book of Songs and the Songs of the South are the wellspring of Chinese poetry. The Book of Songs is a collection of 305 Chinese poems written 3,000 years ago. These earliest Chinese poems, still available now, consist in most part of 4 character lines, which could be sung to the accompaniment of music. These poems were divided by their distinctive tones into 3 categories, namely Feng, Ya, and Song. Feng included mainly folk songs of various areas. Ya was written basically by and for the nobles. Song consisted of sacrificial hymns or songs eulogizing ancestors. The language of the Book of Songs is simple, metaphorical, and profound in meaning, and chanted with a recurrent tune. Characterized by a style of writing which highlights implicitness and symbolic mood, the Book of Songs made a deep impact on poetic creations of later generations. The Songs of the South is a poetic style created by Chu Yuan, a great poet of the Warring States period. Later, Chu Yuan's poems and the poems of other poets were put together and compiled into a collection of poems called the Songs of the South. Compared with the Book of Songs, the Songs of the South was freer in composition, but became more expressive. The most famous poem of the Songs of the South is Chu Yuan's Li Xiao, Encountering Sorrow. This poem is full of unrestrained compassion, miraculous imagination, and picturesque romance. Li Xiao, with its 375 sentences and 2,478 characters in all, is the longest lyrical poem from ancient times of China, in which the lines, "The way ahead is long, I see no ending, I would go up and down to seek my heart's desire unbending," have remained the motto for many people in China.
Tongue poetry and song poetry, Songsu. The sun beyond the mountain glows, the yellow river seaward flows. You can enjoy a grander sight by climbing to a greater height. This is a famous tongue poem entitled On the Stork Tower. Tongue poetry represents the pinnacle of ancient poetry in China. More than 1,000 years have elapsed. We can still read up to 50,000 poems left behind by over 2,000 tongue poets. Tongue poetry consists not only of pre-tongue poems, which enjoy greater freedom in form, but also of poems of modern style with fixed tonal patterns or rhyming schemes. In terms of the number of characters, modern style poems are divided into the poems with 5 characters to a line and the poems with 7 characters to a line. As to the number of lines, modern style poetry covers poems of 4 lines with each line containing 5 characters. Pentasyllabic quatrain, poems of 8 lines with each line containing 7 characters, heptasyllabic quatrain, and poems of over 10 lines or regulated verse of over 10 lines. On the Stork Tower is a poem of the first type. The most famous poets of the Tang Dynasty are Li Bei, Du Fu, and Bei Juyi. Se is another type of poetry. It has lines of varying lengths, and its prosody is expressed through different types of tunes. Compared with modern-style poetry, Su enjoys greater flexibility in scenic description and emotional expression, and excels in an appealing variation of language. Su originated in the Tang Dynasty and reached its high tide in the Song Dynasty. During this period of time, two styles of writing came into being: the bold and unconstrained school and the graceful and restrained school. Representative of the former is Su Shi's verse. East flows the mighty river, sweeping away the heroes of time past. Typical of the latter is Li Qingjiao's verse. And the drizzle on the phoenix tree keeps on falling. Pit-a-pat, pit-a-pat. Is this the kind of mood and movement to be expressed by one word, sad? The complete works of Songsi, handed down from the past ages, has collected up to 20,000 si by altogether 1,330 poets, of whom the most renowned are Liu Yong, Su Shi, Li Qingjiao, and Xin Qiji.
Four Chinese classic novels. 1. Romance of the Three Kingdoms is China's earliest historical novel, written in the Ming Dynasty. Its author, Luo Guanzhong, created this literary masterpiece in light of historical sources and popular legends. The novel portrays the political and military clashes among three interested cliques headed respectively by Cao Cao, Liu Bei, and Sun Quan between the late Eastern Han period and the Three Kingdoms period. The author adeptly depicts over 40 scenes of wars of varying scales, including the Battle of the Red Cliffs, the best-known episode of the novel. Other war scenes, such as borrowing arrows with straw-covered boat and taking advantage of the east wind, also enjoyed great popularity. The novel portrays upward of 1,000 characters, including the well-known images of wise Zhuge Liang, brave Zhang Fei, loyal Guan Yu, and tricky Cao Cao. Romance of the Three Kingdoms has been translated into a number of foreign languages and thus become increasingly popular in many parts of the world, especially in Asian countries where it enjoys a large readership. Outlaws of the Marsh, written in the Ming Dynasty, is the first novel in vernacular in Chinese literary history. Its author, Shi Naian, composed this masterpiece on the basis of a legendary story about the peasant uprising headed by Song Jiang. The novel delineates the peasant revolt in Shandong province and depicts 108 heroic figures who were forced to rebel against the court. Be driven to join Liangshan rebels has been turned into a Chinese idiom expressing the meaning of being compelled to take up arms as the only way out. As the first novel in vernacular, Outlaws of the Marsh highlights spoken language, thus making the narration more vivid and lifelike. Such episodes of the novel as Wu Song subdued a tiger, Lin Chong sheltered from snowstorm in the mountain spirit temple, false Li Kui and genuine Li Kui, and Lu Jishen pummeled the Lord of the West have been highly relished by Chinese readers and adapted into operas and films.
Four Chinese Classic Novels, 2. Journey to the West, published in the Ming Dynasty, is a long fairy tale. Its author, Wu Cheng'en, availed himself of the legendary story of great popularity about a Tang monk seeking scriptures. Full of magic and mystery, the novel presents vivid pictures of the tortuous adventures of Tang Song, the monk, accompanied and protected by his 3 disciples, Sun Wukong, the monkey, Zhu Baijie, the pig, and Monk Sha, in their pilgrimage westward to India. On the way, the 4 of them underwent 81 ordeals and subdued various types of monsters and evils. In the end, after surmounting many hardships, they came back with Buddhist scriptures. The Monkey King, Sun Wukong, with his great combat capability and resourceful skills of 72 physical transformations, has become a hero in the hearts of the Chinese people. Such episodes about him as Sun Wukong upsets the heavenly kingdom, the monkey subdues the white bone monster, and so on, are well known to all people old and young. Journey to the West has been rendered into many foreign language versions and thus made available to a large readership around the world. It has been adapted into innumerable forms of literature and art, such as theatrical plays, film scripts, TV series, cartoon films, and video games, and so on. A Dream of the Red Mansions, written in the Qing dynasty, is the most outstanding novel in ancient China, and also one of the literary classics of the world. The novel is composed of 120 chapters in total. Qiao Shuiqin wrote its first 80 chapters. After his death, Gao Yu completed the next 40 chapters. This long vernacular novel is run through with a tragic love between 2 young people of nobility, Jia Baoyu and Lin Daiyu. It describes the process of decline and fall of the 4 families, the Jias, the Wangs, the Shis, and the Shus, and reveals, penetratingly, the interpersonal relationship and the ways of the society then. The novel prides itself on its wide social coverage and complicated plots. Hundreds of lifelike characters portrayed in the novel, such as Jia Baoyu, Lin Daiyu, Xu Baocai, Wang Shifeng, and Granny Liu, have evolved into everlasting artistic images. Furthermore, the novel presents a kaleidoscope of traditional Chinese culture. It may well be considered as an all-inclusive encyclopedia of the cultural heritage of China. For this reason, the enthusiasm for the study of A Dream of the Red Mansions has never died down, and on the contrary, led to a special branch of learning called Redology.
Local operas. Beijing opera is well known among people, but aside from it, there are many other opera styles which are popular in various regions of China. Because of their regional character, these operas are uniformly termed